I have yard envy. I had to confess before we continue. Yes, I know I sound like the grumpy old guy who yells, "Stay off my lawn!" at little kids, but hear me out. I live next door to a family that should win an award for how well they keep their lawn. It's always lush and full. I would be lying if I said I hadn't entertained doing a picnic over there. My lawn, on the other hand, is patchy, with lots of spots where the grass has died, even though it gets plenty of water. The problem is that it's full of weeds. My yard looks like a bald dude who's using Rogaine to try to grow hair, but it's coming in kind of wild and irregular in a few random spots around his head. I don't know why, but I am amazing at growing weeds, but awful at growing grass. Every spring is another season of trying to remove weeds and grow grass. Years of doing this has given me a bad back and a PhD in weed removal. I've learned that if you don't remove the weeds, they will choke out the grass around them. They quite literally suck the life out of your lawn. And unless you pull the weeds out by their roots, you still have weeds. You think you've removed them, but they have not gone away and will keep growing. Sometimes when I'm out in my yard, crying or lying defeated in a dirt patch, or thinking about how if I torched my neighbor's yard, mine wouldn't look so bad anymore, I realize those weeds are a picture of the anxiety and worry in our lives. If we don't deal with them, they choke the life out of us. In fact, the origin of the word worry in English comes from an old German word meaning to strangle or choke. Worry and anxiety strangle us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. Also, like weeds, if anxiety is not addressed at its roots, it isn't going away. We might think we've removed it, but then we'll discover we haven't, and it will continue choking the life out of us. The roots of the weeds in our lawn are underground. And like weeds, the roots of our anxiety are also beneath the surface of our minds and hearts. Good news, it is possible to remove weeds in your lawn, and it is possible to remove the anxious feelings in your heart. Like getting rid of weeds, it's not easy, but you can do it. Jedi Jesus. What do you think Jesus preached about when he gave a sermon? Remember, it was 2,000 years ago, so he probably wasn't warning of the dangers of dating apps, Zoom fatigue, or Netflix and chilling. We have some of Jesus' preaching recorded in the Bible, including his most famous talk called the Sermon on the Mount, because he delivers it from a mountainside. In this teaching, Jesus addresses the topic of anxiety. Imagine that. I guess people have been anxious for a long time. In the chapters ahead, we will explore more of Jesus' teaching on anxiety. For now, I want to focus on a few penetrating questions he asks his audience in the Sermon on the Mount. I think we'll find they are still relevant to our anxiety today. Jesus says, "I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear." Matthew chapter 6, verse 25. Jesus covers what his audience would have worried about: food and clothing. In that day, there wasn't a local grocery store or a fridge full of food. Chick-fil-A was not open on Sundays, and, well, it was never open back then. Restaurants didn't exist. You got up every morning hoping you'd have enough to eat that day. There also wasn't mass production of clothing. Most folks had 1 or 2 outfits total. They couldn't go buy a new outfit at the mall because there were no malls. Anxiety about, what if we run out of food? Or, what if our clothes wear out and we can't afford to replace them? Was real. But Jesus says, don't worry about that. Whatever you were stressed about, he would tell you not to spend time worrying about it. More on why ahead, but let's take a look at a genius question he asks next. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes?